there. Today is day 34 of the Draw the Circle Prayer Challenge. And today's conversation is entitled Raise Up a Remnant. And it's taken out of 2 Kings, the 19th chapter and the 30th verse, where it reads, "And the remnant shall yet again take root downward and bear fruit upward." And so if you have a green thumb, or if you have ever farmed or been exposed to that, or maybe not, you're a city person, but you had that project in school where you took the seed and you put it in a wet napkin and it rooted, what you find is that there are things happening below the surface. And so those roots are expanding down, and you don't see as much happening above surface, but there's a whole lot happening below the surface. Those roots are getting grounded in, and that's our prayer life. And so the more we ground in, the more we develop the foundation of our prayer life, then you'll start seeing the fruit bear above ground. And so that scripture is impactful because it lets us know that before you see it on the outside, there's going to be some depth, there is going to be some foundation and some root of prayer that's being planted. The conversation talked about the fact that only a remnant is needed. We don't need these massive crowds to make a change or to make a difference. And so they talked about these students. There were 50 students, and they were in Argentina. And it said Argentina was a wasteland. There was not very many people who were believers. And so, in fact, it made me look up the population of that time. And so they said that there was only 600 across the entire nation of Argentina. Well, in 1950, there was 17,150,335 citizens. And of that 17,150,335, only 600 of them were believers. And so they didn't give up. They didn't just turn the world over. They said, nope, we're going to pray. And they began to weep and pray. Weep and pray. They prayed so much and weep so much, they were standing in the puddles and pools of their own tears. And so they prayed until they were released from that prayer. And after they intently prayed, a crusade broke out. Crusades broke out that stadiums that seated 180,000 people were not large enough to hold the crusades. What if we gathered as a remnant and we began to pray for our nation? We began to pray for the politics and things that are happening and how we're so polarized right now as a nation. What if a remnant got together and prayed intently until a crusade broke out, until we saw change? The root of our prayers is happening now so that we can see the fruit displayed later. So I encourage you and I challenge you to pray for a later fruit. When we see the conversation conclude, it says, when the prayer meeting becomes the most important meeting, revival is around the corner. When prayer meeting, got to attend that prayer meeting. So I look forward to connecting with you on tomorrow, day 35 of our Draw the Circle Prayer Challenge.